All right, welcome to another episode of Quarter Life Crisis. I have spent 2020 on a quest of personal growth, and a big part of that personal growth has been reading books. I've read 13 books this year so far, on top of blogs and articles and magazines, tons of reading, tons of learning. But after reading all of that content, I started to question myself of what did I actually remember? What do I remember right now? And so I researched that, and I stumbled onto the Cone of Learning. So the Cone of Learning was created by Edgar Dale in 1946. It was originally just basically called the Cone of Experience. There weren't a lot of labels to it. It was just about learning and experience. But in 1967, D.G. Treichler of Mobil Oil Group actually put together the current state of the Cone of Learning, labeled it, did a bunch of research on it, and gave us all the numbers that we know today. Now, the easiest way to explain the Cone of Learning is to show you the Cone of Learning. Enjoy. So let's talk about the Cone of Learning. I want you to envision an upside down pyramid, or almost like a funnel. At the very bottom of the funnel of learning is the first thing that we almost always do, which is read. Whether it's books, magazines, whatever it might be, we read to learn. But after 2 weeks, we only remember 10% of what we read. The next step up is just hearing the words, whether it's a podcast or an audiobook or someone talking to you. We only remember 20% of what we hear. Looking at pictures, most people are visual learners. That's a little bit better, but that's only 30% we remember 2 weeks later. Now, if you talk about watching a movie, looking at an exhibit, watching a demonstration, seeing it done on location, we only remember 50% of what we hear and see. Now, that's the passive side. Once we get active, though, that's when we actually start to learn. So if we give a talk or we participate in a discussion, we remember 70% of what we say. If we do a dramatic presentation, simulate the real experience, or heck, even doing the real thing, we will remember 90% of what we say and do. That's the Cone of Learning. So this podcast has done a lot more for me than just gain me social media clout. What I have read and what I have shared with each and every one of you has actually helped me retain and actually remember the knowledge myself. Instead of just reading, I was reading and putting together podcasts and having to vocally tell people about what I was learning. So, in some ways, thank you. But it also explains why you don't master something after you just read a book or you just watch a video. The way you change your life and you change your experience and you master anything is by actually doing the thing. You can't read a book about push-ups. You gotta go do the push-ups. So all the books in the world, no matter what it's about, whether it's about stress and anxiety, whether it's about meditation, whether it's about business growth or personal growth, none of that means anything if you don't practice what you're learning. It sounds simple, but a lot of us just stop at watching the video or reading the book and we cross it off our list and we go, yep, I've read X amount of books this year, but what do you actually retain and what do you remember? That's one of the biggest flaws of our entire educational system is that we build people to just memorize things, not actually learn things. So do with this as you will. If you're out there trying to grow yourself and get better yourself, I hope that you don't just read books, you actually go and practice it. And that's the Cone of Learning. Stay healthy, stay distanced, and welcome to the Valley of the Sun.